Hi YouTube, please give me a moment while I connect to Facebook. We'll be getting started shortly. Hope you are doing well. And I think we should be live on Facebook. Hi everybody. Welcome to the Strategic Swing Trader. I am Sami Abu Saad, Director of Education at T3 Live. Again, hope you're doing well and hope you've had a good weekend so far. I'm going to get you ready for trading this week by going over the market. I'll tell you what I see. I'm also going to review some amazing swing ideas. So make sure to stick around till the end. Before we start, as always, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss is for educational purposes only. If you are new to our channel, please be sure to download the free ebook. Link for that is in the description. If you have any questions for us at all, please be sure to email us, info@t3live.com. And lastly, if you find benefit in today's video, be sure to hit that like button. Again, stick around till the end. We're going to talk about some important stuff today. First, we'll start off by talking about the market. The market is the Qs at least is trying to roll over, as you can see over here, starting to break down a little bit. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Yeah, the weekly chart looks like it wants to pull back. Now, here's the SPY. Not so much. Still above the 45-degree rising 20. Here's the IWM. 50-50 on the IWM. Still has a rising 20. So here's the thing. It is not prudent to try and bet against this kind of a trend. The only time you do it is if the trend breaks and you get a downtrend, right? Lower highs, lower lows. Right now what we have, as you can see, is higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, this was a little bit of a lower high, but got exceeded. So mostly basically higher highs, higher lows. So it's not prudent to bet against it, right? You might end up missing the top if you don't bet against it, but so be it, because most of the time you think it's the top and it goes higher. So the only time I bet against this trend is if it accelerates, goes climactic a little bit, or if we actually break the trend and we start to go in a downtrend. So right now it appears like we want to roll over, and we might. I'm not saying we won't. We very easily could. Let's take a look at the 60-minute chart of the Qs. I mean, that is a pretty big rounding top. Some people might call it a head and shoulders pattern, right? And then so under the lows, under the neckline, you know, lower to the prior low. Sure, maybe. But again, I try my best not to bet against this kind of a trend, because I know that most of the time I will be wrong. And I'll miss out, if I get out of my long positions, I'll miss out on, you know, who knows how much longer we can go. Having said that, I did take the SQQ long on Friday because I just have too many long positions, just as a hedge. A hedge means it's like insurance. Most of the time you will not use your insurance ever, right? Like a fire insurance. You hope to never use it and you still have to carry it every year. So it's the same here. I hope I lose on the SQQ, but just in case the market decides to drop, then I'll have some kind of protection against all these long positions that I have, because I'm overexposed to the long side, to the upside. Okay, so that's my take on the market. I think if we come in, it will be temporary, and I'm not calling a top in the market. But on the Qs, which is the track ETF for the top 100 companies in the Nasdaq, it appears as though we want to drop. If you look at the, you know, Nvidia looks a little bit lower. Well, Microsoft is the biggest. Let's start with Microsoft. Microsoft looks pretty good still. Number two would be Apple. Apple actually is at a very good location to go higher. Look at the monthly chart. I talked about it in last week's video. It didn't go anywhere, ended up not going anywhere, but it actually is at a good spot to go higher. Unless we take out Friday's low, then no. Then I think we're lower on Apple. Then the third one would be Google, which could come in a little bit because it had that multi-bar rally, but it probably is a weekly buy setup. It is a weekly buy setup. So any sell-off should be temporary. Then we have Nvidia, I think is number 4. Nvidia we already talked about. Could come in a little bit, who knows? Because it accelerated. You see how it accelerated? But it didn't accelerate like SMCI did, where it went vertical over here. So who knows for sure? And then Amazon, similar to Microsoft, is just grinding up. That would be number 5 or 6 now. And then I don't know if Tesla's number 7, I think it is. And Tesla could see a bounce because it's overextended to the downside. I talked about it in last week's video. I said it's lower. Some people shorted it, reached out to me, and they said they went short. You know, and it's also at some kind of support on the monthly chart, this prior low right here. But I'm not sure about Tesla, honestly. So again, not to belabor the point, the market could come in. You know, we'll find out together starting tomorrow. That's the market. In terms of, actually, before I start talking about the swing ideas for tomorrow, let me show you Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, you see how the weekly chart, this is the weekly chart of Bitcoin, accelerated to the upside. I can fix the chart a little bit. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix the chart. All right, it's fine, it's fine. You see how this chart is just too close to the margins, the upper margin. So I can just, actually I can fix it real quick here. All right, that should fix it. You see how we accelerated, went a little bit vertical. So Bitcoin could come in if it breaks under 64,500, lower to about 52 or so. If it breaks under last week's low, the more likely course of action would be for this buy setup to go higher. And here's a beautiful entry for you. This is the daily chart. Here's the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart triggered the sell setup. If this a sell setup means a counter rally back towards that declining 20, that blue line. If this sell setup fails meaning, you know, we go higher here. If we go higher here, then that would trigger the daily buy setup, in which case Bitcoin long over, it's like 68,900, let's call it 69. Stop can be as tight as right here. Or if you want to be safe, put the stop under the prior low, which is about probably 64, I think, 64,500. You see what I mean? So entry would be over 69, stop either under 66,750 or under 64,500 on Bitcoin. The same with Ether, but Ether is a bit weaker because we can see that the buy setup is forming under the 20 MA, but the same concept. If Bitcoin works, Ethereum will work too. Solana is completely different. It is just all out bullish, headed to the all-time high, most likely to the all-time high and beyond, which is about 250 on Solana. And then I have a few other ones that I like this one is pretty good, the AVAX, that looks pretty good. I'm in the BNT and BNB, and BNB is gonna come in, I can tell, but I am not getting out because I'm keeping it long term. I did it on this 1, 2, 3 right here, and it doubled since then. So it's just hitting the all-time high. So I think that's why it went vertical on the weekly chart, went climactic. So that's why it's encountering resistance. But I'm keeping it long term. But anyways, for now, you know, these are buy setups. The AVAX is a breakout on the daily chart. The MKR also is pretty nice, but it already triggered earlier today over the base stop under. It's like the AVAX, MKR is extremely bullish. The INGR is a buy setup on the daily chart. So there's some interesting cryptocurrencies out there, but if you want the major ones, the Bitcoin and Ethereum, they have buy setups. In terms of the swing ideas, that is a beautiful buy setup on the BDC. A buy setup is when you have an uptrend that pulls back a little bit and then goes back up, pull back and go back up, right? So that's a pullback. It triggered actually on Friday, but I only found it this weekend during my scanning. So the entry should have been over 86.30. Now the entry should be over 86.63. Stop would be under the red bars low, okay, which is 84.49, 84.39. The target is the prior high, $90. Some plays you can keep long term, in which case you don't take at the prior high, okay. I don't think that's one of those. So I wouldn't keep it long term. The BGC is a base breakout on the hourly chart. I always like it when I get a bearish signal or you know, in this case, a wide range red bar, that's bearish, right? The reason why I like it on my bullish watches is because then the negation of something bearish is bullish. You see what I mean? The more bearish an event or a bar is, the more bullish it becomes once it's negated. So let's say we get a nice big green bar tomorrow. Boom, that means, you know, we're higher. So I like it over 875, I think, over that base. Stop under 819. This bar's low is 819, okay? So that's the BGC. BHC, I'm 50-50 on it. It's basically doing a buy setup plus a retest and failure. So here's the buy setup and retesting. So it needs to take out this bar's high. Then that's the break of the neckline. That's the W pattern basically. What I like about the BHC is not so much the daily chart, it's more the monthly transition. You see that monthly curling 20 MA and with a void above, a tradable void above to $20. So this could easily double. So again, the entry would be over this bar's high, stop under the red bar's low, and then as a long-term play. As a swing, I don't like it that much. The CIVI, we're in a couple of oil stocks. I'm in the Halliburton, which I did at the bottom as a climactic buy setup, but I only played it as a Climo because of the monthly buy setup. So I really hope this one works because it's already up over $4,000-$5,000 and it hasn't even gotten started. I have 2,000 shares. And I picked it up when it went climactic. I was actually live on the mic. So it went climactic the other day, a couple days ago, just on this red bar over here. So bought it here, stop right here. I undersized it big time, but I was still able to grab 2,000 shares. And it's already up $4,000 or $5,000. So I like it a lot as a long-term play. And I also I'm in the TRGP, which was, I mentioned it in one of these videos a couple weeks ago as a weekly 1, 2, 3 long. Looks beautiful. I'd like to be in the FANG or some of the other ones that look really good. This one looks amazing, but I feel it's a little bit late. But some of the oil stocks look good. This one looks good on the weekly and the monthly. Here's the monthly buy setup. Here's the weekly 1, 2, 3. Okay, on the weekly chart. So it looks higher over right here, which is this bar's high is $72. Stop could be as tight as $69.60 or somewhere here, which is $67.50. So up to you. The wider the stop is, the safer, right? You're not going to get shaken out that easily. Sorry, 1 second, because I'm keeping track of Bitcoin, because I am going to play that sell setup failure that I told you about. Now, I'm in Bitcoin as a long-term play, and it's up a lot, knock on wood. But I'm just doing this as a swing trade if it triggers over 69,000. I'm also in Solana, I'm in AVAX, and I have 2,000 shares of ETHE, not Ethereum, but it's the, that fund, that grayscale fund that tracks Ethereum. Anyways, back to this. So the CIVI over 72 by 69.60 or under 67.50. Here's a Bitcoin stock for you, CLSK. I played the CLSK from here up until, I don't know, was it $20 where we, under this bar is low where we got out? Somewhere there. I think I probably got out of half this day and then half right there. So it's not perfect, but I think the crypto miners are bound for a bounce. How about that? I think are gonna bounce. So you got CLSK, you got Mara, which is very weak, so I don't like it that much, and you got Riot, and you got a bunch of other ones. I actually like BTDR also. That's looking pretty good, but it popped too much for me now on Friday. And I also like the CIFR, I think is the symbol. Yes. So those are my favorite three. The CLSK, the CIFR, and the BTDR. Now, I'm not going over the BTDR and the CIFR because they moved up too much on Friday. This one looks good over 18. Stop under, if you want the safest stop, under about $15. Okay? In fact, it's $14.75. That's the safest stop. If you want it slightly tighter stop, $14.99. It doesn't make sense to use the tighter stop because the difference is only 25 cents and you get a much safer stop under $14.75. So I like it over 18, stop under $14.75 as a long-term play. Here's the monthly, transitioned already. What if it gets to 40? then it would be really, really nice. So I am planning on playing the CLSK. The COVA is a beautiful base breakout. So just over 1041 or so, stop under here, the double bottom, okay, which the low of which is 874. Looks beautiful. That's the COYA. I've never heard of it until I found it this weekend. Now, CRISPR, CRSP, the STX, and one more, which was the, there's one more, I might have not put it on the list here. Where is it? I guess it's not on the list. It didn't make the cut. But these are what I call anticipatory weekly buy setup. So you got a nice pullback on both the CRSP and the STX. How do we play them off of that weekly rising 20? The only way would be to take it, a shot at it over this bar's high, stop under the bar's low. The same with the CRISPR. I would say over Thursday's high, stop under Thursday's low. Safer. So it'd be over 74.20 by 71.13. And again, there was one more, but I don't remember what it was, and it looks like it didn't make the cut because I'm not reviewing my entire daily watch list. That would be 75 items actually. So that would take us like an hour or so or more. I'm just reviewing some of the ones that I think are ready to go for tomorrow. The CTV, I have a position in it. I have a position in maybe some of the other stocks. I have a position in CRISPR. I have a position in HRTX. I have a position in PLCE. I have a position in STNE. So just so you know, some of these I have positions in, but I'm looking to add. That's why I have them on the list here. CTV is a daily buy setup. I like it long over 204, stop under 180. Notice the volume on this stock, not very liquid. So I wouldn't go crazy with the share size. I'd be very careful with the size. I like that monthly chart, okay, that transition. And I like the weekly a lot. And I like the daily, so I like it a lot. Carvana, I have a position in also. Carvana, I did it as an earnings play. So basically, I took it long before it reported. That's taking risk, but I like the setup, and I loved the monthly chart on it. So it worked, and I have a position in it, but I'm looking to add to it over 82.30, stop under 74.40 as a longer term play, with the target being 120 or so up here. Okay, that's Carvana. CXW, I don't have a position in it, but we did get into Geo on Friday. That triggered for the newsletter as a 1, 2, 3. What a beauty, right? So that's a beauty. I think the CXW is another prison stock. I think that's probably gonna follow suit. So I like it higher over 1510. Now, ideally over 1540. But do you want to wait until 1540 gets taken out? The stop will be really big. So that's the issue. So over 1510, stop under 1430. It's not perfect, but I think it might start to rally in sympathy with the Geo, which is another prison stock. The Fate is a bit of a deep pullback, but I like the sell setup failure, the same concept that I discussed on Bitcoin. So I really hope Fate comes in on Friday, tomorrow, and then proceeds to go back up either on Tuesday or the same day. It doesn't matter. So I like it higher over 770, stop under 690 on the Fate. HRTX, I'm in it from the gap day, so that I'm in it from that day. I am definitely looking to add to it over 326, I think. Stop under 292 as a 1, 2, 3, 4. MNSO is a China stock. I'm in the yen. This is the ETF for the Chinese. No, this is the leverage ETF for FXI. So this is the base ETF for China. This is the leverage ETF, and I don't know, it gaps a lot, so I hate trading it, but I'm in it as a long term. I remember in January of 2023, it went from $19 to 60. I mean, literally in 2 or 3 months. Oh, I thought it was in January. I guess it wasn't in January. It was like from October, November. So check it out, from $20 to $60. 73 in how many months? I mean, in how many months? That's the end of October. So November, December, and it topped out in January. So that's 3 months. It went from 19 to 70, from 20 to 70. So it's extremely volatile when it gets going. So I'm really hoping it gets going. We took it long from here. And I've added to it. So I'm just, who knows? This is gappy, so I don't like it, but I just hope it holds this pivot here and then continues higher. If that's the case, then focus on some of the China stocks. I'm in a bunch of them. I am not in the MNSO. I would like to get in it over the base right here. Stop under it. Okay, it's a monthly buy setup. The weekly is my only issue with it. The weekly is, is into the declining 20. But notice the sell setup failure. Where's the sell setup? So here's the sell setup right here. Here's another sell setup right here, and it's failing on it. So I like it. So MNSO. OCGN is a daily breakout. So over the base right here, which is 112. Stop can be as tight as 101 or under 93 cents. Target 1 would be the prior high. The PLCE is the third one. Okay, so it's the CRSP, the STX, and the PLCE, all the same kind of position. Down a lot and then going a little bit climactic, so long over 1351 by 1244. I wouldn't risk a full risk unit. We call it an R. I wouldn't risk a full R on this one because it's not a great setup, but if it moves up, it can move up a lot. I took it long. I know you might not believe, but I called it long at $8.50 and I added to it at $9 on this gap day in the room, and it went up and then it crashed. I added 500 shares to it that day and it went to 38. I got out at 27, I think, where I got out, but I thought that was a good exit, and it went up to 38. So, and I told the room, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in my entire career. I've seen a $1 stock go to 46 in one day. Okay, that's 4,600% in one day. So that's a lot more than this. But I've never seen a $10 stock go to 38 in 4 days, basically. I don't think I have. So that was the craziest thing ever. So that was one of my nicest trades this year so far. One of the absolute nicest on only 1,500 shares. Okay, but I made a lot of money. So anyways, so now I would like to get back in it over 1350. The RTX, I like it a lot on the weekly chart. I wish the daily set up a little bit differently. You see what I mean? Look at the daily. Big wide range bar already. You don't want to be getting in after a wide range green bar. You want to, you want the stock to base a little bit and then get in it. So it already popped, so to speak. But I love that weekly chart, and I think it's higher to probably at least $97, maybe 105 or so. So I like it over 93.10 by $91 on the RTX. STNE, I like it on the weekly buy setup right here. So it would be over 1760. Is it? No, it's 1770. Stop under 1590. But I don't love that weekly chart. What I like about it most is the monthly transition. So sometimes some of the monthly transitions don't work. Here's an example. Snow transitioned and crashed. So I don't know. I can't think of an. And the Fisley tried to transition, crashed. The Snapchat tried to transition over here, looked beautiful, and then crashed. So they don't always work, but when they do, oh my God, they can move hundreds. They can double, triple, quadruple. Who knows? So that's the thing about the STNE. It's a low odds, high reward play. STX, we talked about. The SWBI is transitioned on the monthly, and it's a weekly 1, 2, 3. So over 1780 by 1679 is a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. The shorts, AFRM, I'm a little bit surprised by the AFRM. I called it long in the newsletter, and it worked marvelously over that base, and it worked really well. And we got trailed out somewhere. I don't know where, on the gap day, I think. But you wouldn't expect a stock like this that went up 385%, I think, to turn bearish, because it's turning bearish. And now we have a 1, 2, 3. So I like it short under 32.95 by 33.95. So it's a $1 stop. Target is written all over it, the 200 MA, which is about $28 on the AFRM. FOXF is also 123. It looks really pretty under 4670 by 4890. There's a lot of 123 plays. This is a weekly breakdown on the JOBY. Looks lower to here, to the prior low. And that's, I think, the problem with the ARC ETF, is that it has a lot of these, you know. So I love that ARC monthly chart also. You see, I was trying to transition. That is like a beauty, but it's got these junk stocks in it, like the JOBY, I don't know, is it no, not DTC. So it's got, you know, it's got like the third biggest holding right now after Coinbase, and Tesla is Roku. I don't know, you know, it has Zoom, which hasn't worked in months. These are some of the biggest. It has you. This is like the worst. This looks horrible. Look at you. You look great, but the stock, Unity Software, you guys look amazing, but Unity Software looks horrible. So, you know, I'm in ARC and I'm like, you know, I wish I could just clean it up for Kathy Wood. And I don't mean to sound pretentious or anything like this, but you can tell some of these stocks look awful. Look at you. I mean, this is like, to me, this is the worst. There's a couple other ones, but I'm talking about, she has like 37 items and in symbols in her, in the ARC ETF, but the top 10 or top 15, that's where, you know, that's where the bulk of it is. And some of them look terrible. And again, Roku, number 3. It's not looking good. You know, it tried to transition. I was in it, to tell you the truth, and it failed. Twilio, you know, is also in the top 10. Zoom, you know, okay, Coinbase saved the, you know, ARC this year. It went up a lot. By the way, I got out of coin on the gap down that day, so I'm no longer in it. It was an amazing trade, and now it's looking a little bit higher, but I wouldn't be getting back in it that soon, so I'm gonna wait. And the same with AMD. Was in it, ended up getting out of it at the top. Now has a buy setup, but let's hope it comes in tomorrow, or bases at least, and then goes back up, and then in which case we'll have that sell setup failure that confirms the daily buy setup that we see over here. Okay, so, you know, we do have a lot of interesting ideas, but we'll have to wait and see what the market does this week. This is a nice looking breakdown / 1 2 3. This looks really good actually, under 582 by 601. That's 20 cents. You know, how often do you find a swing trade that only has a 20-cent stop? That looks pretty darn good actually. Wow, KRNY looks good. It wasn't one of the ones that I was gonna play, but I may change my mind because it looks pretty good. MLCO looks lovely also. If you look at the weekly chart, it's a 1 2 3 4 pattern on the weekly. Looks good, lower. OPFI, super bearish under the base, but doesn't have a ton of room, because that's basically where the support is. Like, the most I would expect would be $2, right? So it's 50 cents. PGNY, this is beautiful actually. Is a daily sell setup. Short right here, stop either right here or up here. Target 1, $33.50. Target 2, $30. I am not so focused on the shorts, even though these are beautiful, because I'm finding that most of the money is being made on the long side, not the short side. This is gorgeous also, under 485.89 by 570, all-time low. Look at the weekly base breakdown, no, the monthly base breakdown. I mean, that looks good. I didn't know there was support at $3, so that would be the target, $3. I thought it was at all-time low. SURG is also 1 2 3, so the short list is pretty good. Where's the SURG? Here it is. It's a base breakdown or 1 2 3 4. So short under 450, stop over 494, and then the VYX is a beautiful daily sell setup. Triggered already on Friday, so it's a little bit late, but not too late, under 1230 by $13. All right, I know this was kind of a long video, but I hope you enjoyed it. I try to inject a little bit of education when I see fit, because that's what I'm passionate about. I'm just as much passionate about trading as I am about teaching. I think teaching is my calling. That's what I did throughout my college years. I was a tutor, You know, so I just enjoy it. So I hope, you know, you don't mind that the video was a little bit longer than usual, but and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find benefit in it. And don't forget, if you do find benefit, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, reach out to us, info@t3live.com. And thank you for sticking around till the end. Until next time, take care and best of luck with your trading. Ciao, everybody.